After the catastrophe that was Wario World, I'm finally doing this for you all.
Yeah, you
Oh,
promised.
come on. That catastrophe was like 2 years ago.
Yes, but I still owe everyone a run through of Wario Land 4, so here it is. Wario Land 4 for the Game Boy Advance.
Was this a launch title for the GBA or just an early game?
Yes, it was.
Oh,
I
okay.
believe so.
What was that dog in that last scene looking at? Because he looked terrified.
It was looking at the cat, I think. I don't know.
Wario's girth.
You cannot ignore it.
He certainly looked like you couldn't ignore it. Does Wario
I love
have
no, it's a no. it's a Cadillac.
And a sweet purple one at that.
Yeah.
a Cadillac?
That not shut up. God's sakes, shut up. I like this intro. You know, it just sets the mood of what kind of player you're controlling for this game. In case you didn't play Wario Lands 1, 2, and 3 beforehand.
You're an asshole.
Well, Wario Land 1 was considered Super Mario Land 3, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'd imagine that people were kind of confused on that. But they later dropped that Super Mario Land moniker after Wario Land 2.
So it's like First Blood Part 2 is Rainbow or 3 or something.
The Rambo First Blood Part 2, that was the second film, yeah.
And then they
The
just... okay.
And then they just started calling it Rambo 3.
Yeah, the only one that has the Mario Land 3 moniker on it is Wario Land 1.
Yeah. After that, it's just simply Wario Land.
Yep. Gotta love it when spin-offs become their own franchises.
Well, Wario's just too good of a character to be stuck in a spin-off role, really. Like, it's odd to think that he's the Mario character who had the earliest fully developed personality, really.
Yeah, it must be the chin.
You know what's really weird, though, looking back into this game? You can just see the seeds that were planted that would eventually grow into the WarioWare series. And I think it's most apparent when we start looking at the mini-games. I'm not sure if you're going to be showing any of those off.
No, not really.
Well, just to elaborate, in between levels there are, well, in between worlds I should say, there are mini-games that you can play to get coins for assistance for boss fights.
Yes.
I'm not sure if anything else applies, but
Nope.
the mini-games you would think are straight from WarioWare, with how, you know, how easy they are to pick up and play, and you can just tell they had something in the works here, and it would eventually bloom into what we know as WarioWare for the Game Boy Advance. I think WarioWare, the first one, came out in 2003.
Yes.
This game has a pretty not Mario-ish look and feel to it, now that I'm thinking about it. Like,
Well, it's not Mario, it's Wario.
oh, it's like just the way it's going. It's going from screen to screen rather than scrolling a lot, you know? Mario doesn't really do that.
No, it's an explorative platformer where collecting jewels and treasure is the name of the game. That applies to the Wario Land series as a whole, though.
I'm honestly getting a bit of Metroidvania from this sort of structure going.
Well, it doesn't really work like a Metroidvania. Well, I guess kinda. The levels are sort of structured like tiny Metroidvania areas, I guess is the best way to put it.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean. It's like you're going from one contained hallway to another contained hallway, and the screen goes black as you go between them. And it's like you can go left, and it looked like you could go down, possibly in that area, but I guess you can't.
There are vertical levels later. This is just the intro level.
Okay.
Is this the end? Like, is Wario Land 4 the last Wario Land game?
Also,
No,
why are there
No,
why are
because
there
I know there's Shake It. I know there's Master of Disguise on the DS. I'm not sure if that was I never played any of those, so I'm not sure how they.
No, there's a Wario Land game on the Wii.
Yeah, I've never played that one though. This is actually other than Wario World, I should say. This is the only Wario game I've ever really played. And also, why is Mr. Game & Watch a hieroglyph? Did he?
Because he's old.
Oh man, I didn't catch that until you pointed it out, but it is Game & Watch.
I don't know if it's like supposed to be Game & Watch, but that's.
It's supposed to be Game & Watch, yeah.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay. But yeah, like, this I think is generally a more solid game than Wario World in general, mostly just because this game has, like, actual puzzles to solve, whereas in Wario World it was mostly just a matter of press the button which opens up a treasure, which, you know, Ryan never showed because he played the game after having all collected.
We're past that, damn it.
Yeah.
Maybe you are.
I'll never forgive him.
But this game, you know, there is an actual puzzles, like trying to interact with all the objects using Wario's array of different moves and whatnot. So
Array of girth moves, yes.
Yeah, he's so capable for a fat fuck. I mean,
Well, a lot of that's muscle.
She has a. Oh yeah.
Oh, wait,
well,
John, have
all
you
the
ever-
muscles in his arms.
wait, John, have you ever read the Wario World instruction manual? They have like a biological readout of Wario's anatomy, and his arms and legs are indeed all muscle, but that just means that there's nowhere else for his fat to go. So like his torso
Yeah.
and stomach is just, that's why it's bulging so much.
Yeah, and I believe it. But you know, past that, Wario is very capable. He can shoulder tackle. He can dash. He can ground pound. He can throw shit. A little awkward, admittedly.
Yeah.
the
He doesn't
throwing
just
mechanics.
ground pound. He does a flaming ground pound, a flaming butt stomp.
Like, this man wants his treasure, and he's gonna fucking work for it, and that's admirable. Now let's completely eliminate the Wario Land series and make him do minigames the rest of his fucking life.
Hey,
Mario.
if you want to make a profit, selling cheap products to the unsuspecting masses is the way easier way to do it. Am I right, fellas?
It's in character for Wario, yes, I agree, but
Wario works for EA, yes.
microtransactions everywhere.
Way
I'm surprised they-
shade it, guys.
I'm surprised they haven't tried to work with that for a WarioWare game.
I think it would be too obvious if they did it for a WarioWare game.
A little weightlifting animation he has there.
I just had the weirdest thought that I'd really like to see a WarioWare Hyperdimension Neptunia crossover.
What?
Why?
I don't know. What is this
This is
thing?
This is
It's
the
a-
boss.
It's the
Yeah.
first boss.
No,
really
no,
simple.
that obviously, but what is it?
Oh,
Plum, I think.
I
A
don't
giant plum with a rag doll?
I think its name is Spoiled Rotten.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
You don't even really have to try. You can just like shoulder tackle it to death.
Until you get to this point.
And then you have to jump behind it and shoulder tackle it.
Yeah, attack from the back. So the mini games I was talking about earlier, you play them to get coins so you can hire assistants for boss fights. What the assistant does is pretty much drain some of the health for you before the battle even begins.
Yeah, that's why I don't do them, because I want to actually fight the bosses.
Yeah.
But he
Some
can
of
also
the-
give you a smile for free.
It's cute. Now you're able to choose between the four worlds at your leisure.
Yep.
It's Mega Man styled.
Yeah.
And ironically enough, the green passage, which is the easiest one, is the passage I chose last. In my
Yeah,
playthrough.
I went left first. I went to the
Sapphire Passage.
Sapphire passage first, and I kind of regretted that in the beginning, honestly.
So, what was actually stopping you from going left and right before?
Yeah, it was the first tutorial level.
Yeah,
You ask too many questions.
Yeah, because this is one of the last levels I played, and it literally, you go straight right, and then when you get the key and you hit the statue, you go straight left.
Man, you know,
Yeah, once you get Keezer.
the first thing I thought of here should have been something like Neo Green Hill Zone or some beach level in a game that's actually good. But for some reason, the first thing I thought of was Lester the Unlikely.
You've played Lester the
What
Unlikely?
the fuck?
No,
that is like
I
that is a
haven't.
reach beyond reaches.
I haven't played Lester the Unlikely, no. I only know about it because the nerd did a video on it. But it's the first thing that popped into my head.
Well, Warrior's more capable than Lester the Unlikely.
Oh, by far, yes.
No, I'm pretty sure Wario will use Lester the Unlikely as like a projectile weapon, or maybe a battle stick.
Oh, you mean like the grandpa that we'll be seeing later on in the game?
Yes, only a little more pathetic.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, the one thing I sort of hate about these games, and this is not because of a bad design or anything, don't get me wrong, it's just that when the game is collecting as much shit as possible, just to see that number go up, I can't help myself. I spend like 4 times as long in a level just looking to see if there are any hidden walls or hidden
Oh,
platforms.
that's how I do it too. Don't worry,
Yeah,
John.
it's disgusting. It's like, I'm pretty sure this level should only take me about 2 minutes. But here I am on my 6th minute because I'm looking for an alternate way to get that blue gem because I fucked up somehow.
No. I want to see how speedruns like demolish this game because.
Oh, they did
it's,
one for AGDQ in last month or two.
Yeah, but the thing is that in order to speedrun this game, you have to be like the complete anti-Wario. Like you would.
Yeah, you gotta be Mario.
Oh.
Wow, you have to be the Mario when you're being the anti-Mario. Okay.
No, you forgot the thing. You forgot the thing.
I have to go back that way anyway.
That's okay, he has to backtrack.
Hey, if he gets it eventually, I don't care how long he leaves it behind for.
Now, the thing about with Wario Land, and I can only speak for Wario Land 4 because, again, I did not play Wario Lands 1 through 3, but there are some enemies that you can come in contact with that give Wario special abilities. In this case, this monkey throwing this fruit.
Fat Wario, which is, I know, kind of hard to believe.
It's really fucking redundant. But it makes Wario weigh a lot, so you can...
I've never played Wario Land 1 and 2, but I know in Wario Land 3 he did this stuff. So.
In Wario, in the earlier Wario Land games, apparently he like doesn't have a health bar, so you have to rely.
No, he can't die in Wario Lands 1 through 3.
So I think there was more. You had to use the enemies more as like puzzle-solving objects than here, where a lot of them are just obstacles.
If you can't die, I'd imagine they put a heavier emphasis on puzzle solving. Not the case here because you clearly do have a health meter, so there is a little more emphasis on combat and just general point A to point B platforming.
I will say the game looks fun. It looks pretty damn good by Game Boy Advance standards.
This is also a launch game, GBA game, is what you have to remember. Which is, I think, for some reason, like you'll notice that they tried to put a lot of emphasis on rotating sprites, which for some reason when the when the GBA came out, that was like super impressive for some reason. So like,
well, it was the Super Nintendo of handhelds.
Yeah. But there's the thing, Ted. Because like when the Super FX chip was being published all over the Super Nintendo, that's one of the things they kept bringing up, like rotating sprites. Oh my God, we can do this, or pseudo 3D backgrounds. But the Game Boy Advance can do that with all the games. So let's rotate every sprite we possibly can. In fact, that's a quota for when you're developing a Game Boy Advance game, is that a sprite has to rotate at some point or another.
Like that.
Yeah, like that, exactly. And I agree. Like for a launch Game Boy Advance game, this game looks great, and it's nicely animated. The colors are they really pop without looking washed out. I think which is really important because they would deliberately wash out backgrounds and character sprites because they developed the Game Boy Advance games without thinking of like the SP in the future, which had backlight. Well, no, because Konami didn't do that with Circle of the Moon. Never forget. But it looks really nice.
It does. It looks pretty damn... I want to say smooth is the impression I get from the animation.
Smooth moves is later.
Smooth Moves is a WarioWare game. Sorry, get it right, Lewis.